Watch it. If you haven't watched it already, watch it. It's good. It's awesome. Next. Now for me, the real grade Basterbine is an absolutely phenomenal kit. There's not a lot of kits that I keep on my desk in front of me. This is one of them. This looks ridiculous. The amount of detail on this is phenomenal. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's got all of that real great awesome jazz going on with the part separation, all the armor parts, including sticker details if you want to use those, and it's gorgeous. When it comes to the accessories in here, you've got everything that you need, including very nice beam effects. Did I mention? It's gorgeous. Next up, when it comes to the articulation in here, this will blow your mind. It's such a chunky boy, but what Bandai did with this does mean it can pose up an absolute storm. This is not a brick. It's a big kit that can pose up like a small one. Well, I suppose it is a small one comparatively, but I mean within its grade, within its scale. This right here is the small-scale Gundam model kit pinnacle for those who don't like Gundam. Are you a Zeon fan? Do you fly the flag of Zeon? Do you believe the Space Noids did nothing wrong, that they are right? Then this is the kit you need in your collection. Down with the Federation, real grade, Basterbine. Spooky, spooky, oh my god, I can hear the marching feet in the distance of that impending raid deadline. Save me, Spooky, save me, I wasted too much time, The high-grade Moon Gundam might just be the greatest high-grade kit ever put to plastic. This thing is an absolute beast. The level of detail on this is incredible. You can pop this in amongst a bunch of real grades and nobody would tell the difference, especially if you threw a couple of decals on it. Even to this day, I look at it on my shelf and I'm wowed by just how awesome it is. So way back when, this must have blown, actually it did blow, some minds, including mine. Like I just mentioned, I'm on a little bit of a deadline, which means the hours and seconds are ticking down really quick, and I waste time. I like to do that. I waste a lot of time. I did it. It's my fault. So that means from here on out, I'm not going to really be fact-checking what I'm saying. However, it will be from the heart. When it comes to the accessories in here, this is ours. This is a premium kit through and through. We've got a full action base in here, which is always a super plus. A thing that looks like a beam tomahawk. I don't remember what this was called, but it's vigorous and beautiful. Same goes with the beam rifle. I could just call it a beam rifle, but if I'm not mistaken, this may be some kind of precursor to this Basterbine beam shotgun. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please do. Comments down there. We also have some awesome beam boomerangs, which can be folded up and slotted into the forearm. But the main event in here is that big old moon-shaped psycho plane. It's got translucent red round front, white round back, and it is gorgeous. They come apart. And did I mention? This kit is gorgeous. Honestly, this right here might just be the best high grade that has ever existed. However, I do feel the recent Rubers does give it a run for its money. But maybe not. You tell me down in the comments. The Master Grade Freedom Gundam 2.0, a redesign of the Freedom Gundam from Gundam Seed. Now this kit did divide opinions when it did come out. That's mainly because this isn't a true Freedom Gundam, this is a redesign. The main reason for that probably being that there already is a Master Grade Freedom Gundam, and I didn't feel the need to really do it. Instead, they made something a little bit different. And that to me is an absolutely stunning looking Gundam model kit. Now I will mention, if you've never built one of these before, do not break its hips. This thing comes with hips that are too tight. That means you do need to sand down the inside of where the hip pegs go in before you put it together. Only sand it down ever so slightly, just so it's not too tight that it will snap it. Yeah, don't do that. Either sand on the peg or the inside of the hole. One or the other, but don't break them. Besides that hip breaking action, this kit is absolutely stupendous. And it's everything that I believe a Master Grade Gundam should be. First off, it is absolutely and utterly gorgeous. This kit features a really flashy design with lots of nice detail, complemented by some very nice articulation. When it comes to the accessories inside the box, once again, this is the standard Gundam loadout of beam rifle, shield, and beam sabers, all of which do exactly what they need to do. The hands in here, once again, are completely compatible with the full line of newer Seed Master Grades, and we also do get a standard here, which is always a plus. Not the greatest stand around, but it gets it up in the sky. And that is where this kit reigns supreme. The articulation on this kit is absolutely phenomenal. Once again, be careful with those hips. And all the different elements on this, including the railguns on the waist, the wings, and the back with all of their moving parts, means that this will always be absolutely stunning in action poses in flight. This thing looks spectacular. Honestly, I'm staring at it right now. This is absolutely beautiful. You should get one. The perfect grade Gundam RX-78 Unleashed was designed by Bandai to be the ultimate Gundam model kit build. It's got all the tech Bandai has ever developed for Gundam model kits crammed into one absolute beast of a kit, besides a fucking stand. Honestly, it's like Bandai was like, we're gonna make the greatest RX-78 2 model kit around. The best Gundam model kit around that builds up in multiple layers, is an absolute event of a build, and then we're going to give you one big fat middle finger by not including a stand or having any kind of stand it's compatible with. It is forever relegated to the ground. Forever. Now that I've got that gripe out of my system, this thing is beautiful. The build of this kit is like absolutely no other Gundam model kit out there. This builds up in a series of phases. Phase 1 follows the entire inner frame with all of its incredible detail. This is a model kit in its own right, almost like Bandai wants to buy multiple of these to display them in all of the stages. It's actually a solid idea if you want to be poor. Do I want to be poor? As you build this kit up, you add layer upon layer. You've got a layer of etched metal parts to go over the inner frame, followed by the armor, followed by some decals. This builds up in a multitude of phases, and each one changes this kit in the absolute most awesome ways. When it comes to the accessories in here, this is the basic Gundam loadout of sword, board, and beam rifle, each as detailed as the Gundam itself. With the beam saber being especially impressive considering it packs in a full LED and battery inside of the handle that will light up the beam saber. And even 1 year later, that light is still going strong. One departure from the standard perfect grade design is we do get pre-posed hands in here. This is definitely a double-edged sword. These hold on to the weapons better than the posable style hands, but of course some people just love those posable style hands. When you've got a kit that big, it's nice to pose the individual digits. When it comes to the articulation on this kit, once again this is one that is definitely for display rather than play. There is some limited aspects to the articulation in here, and all you'll really get is basic poses. This is a kit that is predominantly about the build and the overall aesthetics, rather than the poses that it can pull off, and the weapons included. So if you're looking for an absolutely phenomenal build, ridiculous detail upon detail and upon detail, this is the kit that you need. Now, if you could only have one Gundam model kit and one Gundam model kit only, never again to ever have another Gundam model kit, I would recommend the real grade High New Gundam. This is the kit that has taken its big old plastic butt flap and situated right on that spike that is the tip of the Gunpla pyramid. This is the king of Gunpla. Now, my mind is fried, absolutely fried. I just sat down and tried to explain 20 Gundams, why they're great, and why I need them.
Can you give me a thumbs up if you're doing
and
good?
now my brain just literally cannot think anymore. There is what the real grade High New Gundam looks like.
How are you?
Absolutely gorgeous.
Zakari Knight.
Aesthetically, it
You
is
guys should try
phenomenal.
Rain World.
Accessories-wise, this comes with the
What is
standard
that? I don't know
loadout,
that.
once again, of beam saber, beam rifle, shield, and on top of that, then we have that High New Gundam bazooka. Man, my brain not working anymore. It's a great kit. Absolutely fantastic. This kit gets the 10 out of 10 for both play and display. Play-wise, this kit can pull off any pose. The articulation is fantastic, and we've got plenty of nice moving panels and gimmicks. Display-wise, this is absolutely gorgeous. Get this up on a stand, open up those wings, and this will look phenomenal, even if you've got a pretty big collection. And if it's 1/44 scale, it will stand out perfect. So yeah, it's a damn fine Gundam, and one that definitely deserves the #1 spot. Now, while the gray matter inside of my head slowly dissolves, turns to a liquid and leaks out my ears from overthinking about Gundam model kits for the last few hours, make sure to drop down there in the comments. If you had a kit you would recommend that someone just needs to build, and I did not include it in this list, then make sure to drop it down there. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla videos, and of course, I will see you next time. Hey Owen, how you doing, man? What's happening today? Cool, is this gonna be your first time? Fantastic. Is there any special reason for jumping today? Your mom's kicking you out of an airplane. Where's she at? She's coming too? Who are these other
to? First time? Fantastic. Well, man, we're going to be going all the way up to 13,500 feet, jumping out of that airplane outside and coming back down at over 120 miles an hour. What do you think?
Sounds scary, but very exciting.
You ready to go fast? Have some fun? Let's do it, bud. I'll see you out there.
Your music's got a real special quality, and the kids are down with it. Real special quality.
All right, Noah, we got about 10 more minutes to go. How you feeling, bud? You ready to go jump out of this plane? Awesome, bud. Let's go have some fun. I'll see you out there.
Hey, it's me, your skin. Oh no! Today? CeraVe Blemish Patches. The only patch with 3 essential ceramides and niacinamide. Absorbs gunk in just 3 hours and leaves no marks.
CeraVe Blemish Patches from the #1 dermatologist recommended acne brand.
the fuck?
All of these through Hobby and Japan, so the link, as usual, including upcoming pre-orders, is down there in the description.
I'm actually watching Gundam review.
So
That's gonna be my
hovering around the
background.
bottom left in the 20th position without the ability of flight is the Delanza. And you might be like, well, which one?
Delanza,
Well, two out of the
Delanza.
3 of them. That is the Delanza in green, the standard Delanza / Lotus Delanza, as well as the Delanza in black, which is the Delanza.
Oh,
Soul.
fuck.
Both of these kits are identical besides their color and the weapon loadout, but when it comes to the ranking, they are identical. So first up, when it comes to the cons of these particular kits, these are based on the classic dub from the original Mobile Suit Gundam, which means they are extremely bulky. This does make them a little bit hard to pose, a little bit awkward, and they do have issues with clashing armor parts. On top of that, we do have large seams of the size of the legs. We don't have any alternate hands, so if you're only holding the one weapon with these, you do have that fairly nasty looking open block hand. Finally, and to me, probably one of the most critical aspects about the cons of these kits is the fact that we have a big old
Should
sticker for one of the
go
most important parts of the kit, and that is the head and the face. So it does mean out of box, these could look a lot better. We don't have the nice layering and build-up of parts we do see on some of the kits that are further up the list, but moving over to the pros, this is not the worst kit around, or should I say these are not the worst kits around. These are only on the bottom of the list when it comes to the absolute ridiculous standards of the high-grade Witch from Mercury line. Otherwise, they're absolutely fantastic, rock solid,
should
look
be.
incredible, and if you want an even more over-the-top, serious-looking version, that's the Delanza Soul. Now, I didn't review that one because it's exactly the same as the Delanza, so essentially, just go for the color that you like. These got a silver tier ranking from me, so they're very, very nice kits, but you can do a whole lot better with this absolutely phenomenal line of Gunpla.
You're smiling like that.
At number 19, it's Nutsack Head itself, Guel's Delanza.
Smiling like a
Just like what we
villain.
would have seen, and I would have thrown it into number 20 as
Smiling like
well.
a
But we wouldn't have
villain.
had a number 20 if I didn't put this as number 19, so that is literally the only reason. That
Cookie.
this kit does come with a little bit of a better loadout. It has better shelf
Miss
presence due to
Cookie.
its over-the-top color scheme, and there are some
Cookie
new elements
yan
of
na.
armor, etc. on this version to make it the tricked-out, over-the-top Guel's version. But besides that, it is the same issues, same positive aspects. But if you throw this up on a shelf with a little bit of blue or black light, its weapons will glow up and it
Sana
does
wag pumasok
look
si Delphine.
ridiculously cool. Even though it does have a nutsack for a head.
Wish ko sana wag lumabas si Delphine, man.
So coming in the 18th position is the Humble Demi Trainer. When it comes to the
Thank you,
over-the-top
Miss Cookie.
ridiculous mecha that we've got in the Witch
Walang
from
magawa eh.
Mercury, this is
Ay,
definitely
drawing
at
muna.
the very, very bottom, both lore-wise and when it comes to the model kit too. Now don't let that put you off. Underneath its basic appearance, this is a fully tricked out, awesome high-grade kit. There really isn't really any real down points to it. The ankles can be a little bit awkward. Of course, it is very plain to look at, but it's got great articulation and
banda.
engineering. Now, when it
Pantay
comes
sa
to the
ilong.
accessories in here, there's a couple of things, but not a whole lot. What I feel is
Mali.
quintessential to this release right here is the sold separate option set. This gives you hands, weapon options, and all of which are pretty cool, but they do not come inside the box. This is awesome, however, because if you do grab a couple of boxes of the Demi Trainer, 2 or 3, you can distribute the contents of the options across all of those. We also do have a little bit of an option inside of the box. That means you can color the cockpits on these differently, but those cockpit colors are stickers only, not plastic pieces. Also, the green parts on this in its face do glow under black light, which is a cool addition. But yeah, it is the basic overall look and presence of this particular mech that does lay it down so low in this list. Just remember, it may look plain at first glance, but this is a fully featured, full-tier plastic model mecha.
Like a villain.
So coming Coming in at the 17th position is the pair of Begiers. So these are the bottom of the barrel when it does come to grassly suits in the high-grade Witch from Mercury line. Now these are great. I need to preface all of the kits that are in the lower end of this ranking. They are good, just not as good as what we'll be seeing further up. First up, when it comes to the cons on these particular kits, that would be the stickers. These have a lot of stickers in the box, some of which are right up on the head, like we see on both of them. We've got a lot of green ones all over the Begier Pente, and we've got lots of purple and color corrected ones all over the Begier Bayo. As for another con, the heels on these are a little bit loose. We've got a bit of a funky C-clip down there that tends to pop off every now and then. But that is it when it comes to the negative aspects. The Begier Pente and the Begier Bayo are ridiculously unique, cool-looking suits. At their core, both of these are identical, but of course, like we would have seen with the Delances, the difference between the two is the color of the mecha as well as the weapon loadouts. So when it comes to the Begier Bayo, this is in white on purple, and when it comes to the loadout here, this is extremely unique. Got some massive wing binders around back, a pair of arm-mounted blades, and some funny remote use balls. The Begier Pente on the other side is a little bit more of a defensive unit. We've got a big, massive cannon, as well as one of the coolest Gundam shields I have ever seen. It does have quite a few cool stickers on it, but it has some cool gimmicks. It can spread out and open up in a really cool way. Overall, the quality of these kits is top-notch as you'd expect. The amount of layering and color separation may not be as fancy as what we're going to see later on, but as far as high grades go, it is spectacular. The posability, the overall structure of the finished model kit as well are top-notch for both of these.
A bit up.
Looking good in the 16th position is the
Looking good.
Storm, the first of the twins. So I'm going to get it right out of the way straight away because someone's going to ask in the comments at some point, what is with the rubris? That's just, it's basically pronounced like that in Japanese. I watched it in Japanese, and that's brilliant. There's never been any real explanation for why it's romanized as this, so until there is, I'm sticking with rubris. Visually, this is one of the most unique looking Gundams around. It's so small and essentially does look like a chicken. It's got chicken legs, long arms like wings, and it is a toasty, deliciously cooked shade of brown. But all jokes aside, this is still a really cool idea for a Gundam. There's no real use for a mecha having, well, normal human-sized legs, and this thing's covered in thrusters instead, which kind of makes
I'm smiling like a villain.
A better center of gravity. Overall, it does look really cool. The shell units on this, I guess this is the only big con here. The shell units don't look as good as some of the Gundams we'll be seeing
like
this,
this, like
very
this,
basic with basic clear plastic on top, with some simple stickers inside that do detract a little bit from the overall look. We do have some stickers as well in the chest, which does make this a little less fancy feeling and looking than the Ur. Overall, though, we do have some ridiculously cool angles, thrusters everywhere, and the design is sharp and nice. When it comes to the accessories, we've got every base loaded from melee to mid-range to long range. And on top of that, this is one of the first of the kits we've seen that actually has some alternate hands. And not just the one, we've got two, which is very nice. All of the weapons do work really well. The phase array cannon does rely a little bit on stickers when it is opened up, but everything works here perfectly. When it does come to the articulation and the build quality, this is rock solid and the articulation is incredible. We could have a little bit more in the chicken feet, but overall it is still a fantastic Gundam kit. But like I mentioned, not quite as good as what we'll be seeing further
Is that good?
the list. And what can I say? This is a kid that does look like he could be great friends.
I don't know, man. The fuck?
Deep into the list now, at number 15 is the Gundam Rubris Ur. The only reason this one got a bit of a leg up on its sibling Mobile Suit the Thorn is because, well, it got some serious points to its design. But otherwise, when it comes to the overall quality and build, this is essentially identical. It just looks like a more heavy-duty, armored, over-the-top, serious Gundam. And for me, Mobile Suit always get more points for having a Gatling gun. Everything that I would have said about the Thorn is here. It may not have as many angles, it may not have as many thrusters, but this has a lot of heavy-duty armor and a really cool green and blue on white color scheme. We do have the issue again with the not very fancy of a core unit in this. It's just some basic, clear clear plastic over some stickers, which doesn't look that premium. However, if you do manage to kind of recess or almost carve the stickers onto the plastic underneath, you can get a little bit of a three-dimensional vibe that makes it look a little bit better. When we jump on into the accessories, this is exactly the same as we saw with the Thorn. It's pretty much the same loadout, just re-envisioned and moved around a little bit. We've got the hands in here too, which is an absolute treat for poses, especially because it really does just hold its weapons with one hand. And we do have the phased array cannon round back, again relying a little bit on stickers, but everything works out really well, and there's some great choices in here. Finally, when it does come to the articulation and the build, this is rock solid yet again with some great articulation. Overall, it is a kick-ass kit and a pretty cool Gundam, but when it does come to Which Gundam, you can do a whole lot
Which
better,
from
as you
Mercury.
see as you move on through these kits.
Oh,
Moving now into the 14th position, and we're moving into the platinum tier level of Gundam Witch from Mercury kits. And this right here, once again, is the Demi Trainer, and not just any Demi Trainer. This is Choo Choo's personal custom Demi Trainer. Now just think about the fact that this is in the 14th position, and it is platinum tier. That means there are 13 more kits, 14 kits in total, which are platinum tier and above from Gundam the Witch from Mercury. The line is just that good. Once again, it looks kind of deceiving here with Choo Choo's Demi Trainer because this is more than meets the eye once again. Now, I'll throw out the only real con I find with this kit, and that is that it does have limited ankles, just like the standard
her name
Demi
is
Trainer, but
Bambietta.
everything about this is absolutely stunning. Overall, the
Bambietta,
looks at first glance
maldita.
might look a little bit on the basic side, but not quite as basic as what we saw with the standard Demi Trainer. This looks so cool. We've got some extra armor here, there, and everywhere. It's got an asymmetrical layout, thrusters that slide, rotate, etc. on the sides of the legs, and it's the head on this that drives me wild. The
Yeah.
detail is phenomenal. It almost looks like a funny face, and we do have a nice glowing aspect in the middle for the sensor, which once again glows under UV or black light. When it comes to the accessories in here, once again, outdoing the standard Demi Trainer. We've got two sets
Her
of
name
hands,
is
so that does
Bambietta,
mean
maldita.
holding hands in here, which is always a treat. And the main event here is that massive rifle.
Shout out 5 viewers. Hello.
Mounted rifles
Good evening,
that
good
are
morning,
also held with
wherever you
can
are.
be extremely hard to pose. Everything here is just so well thought out and moves so smoothly. It's so intuitive and just feels right. It's
Isn't it
always
right?
so perfectly posable,
No,
no matter what way
it's too
the
high.
rifle, and that is awesome. On top of that, then, when it comes to the articulation, this is rock solid yet again. Has great articulation besides the
It's too high. Maybe right here.
in the waist to make sure you can get
Here.
movement out of this. And I think one of the aspects that really does show just how much is inside of this
Like
that you can't
this.
see from the outside perspective. This thing has a neck. I never expected it would have a neck.
Oh shit. My bad. Wrong again. Oh my god, I'm so stupid.
Tide Booster Test. Makeup ruining your fit? Try Tide. It's boosted. The other guy can't match Tide's Boosted Clean. Looks like we passed.
Yes!
It's cleaner, whiter, brighter, and fresher. It's got to be Tide.
Boosted!
Ish gets
Get a
it.
taste of Lipton Fusions, made with 50% less sugar than regular sodas.
Why is so hot?
Well, would you look at that? A phone that can tell you what you're looking at. Those are cirrus clouds.
What you
They
looking
often
at?
appear
What you
before changing
looking
the
at?
weather.
Babies don't ever stop. And behind them is an unstoppable Pampers 360 diaper with up to 100% leak-proof fit. Because they're Pampers behind every baby. Now with new
Okay, let's do the other side first before we open this up.
Next up at number 13 is the Hydra, and once again, this is a combo pair slapped into one position. There's two versions of the Hydra available. That's the standard green Hydra, as well as the purple Hydra Stern. Once again, these are identical to their core, besides the fact that they come with different loadouts and they are different colors, but other otherwise they are the same mobile suit. The green version, as you can tell from that antenna on its head, is for using at the School of Technology, and the other version, the Hydri Stern, is the actual military use version. Once again, these are a pair of grassy suits, so just like the Begiers we would have seen before, these do have the typical aspects here that we would have seen. The same sort of curved designs, as well as a lot of purple stickers. When it comes to the cons, the only thing I could really complain about these kits is the use of purple stickers, which isn't really all that much, it's just on the shoulders a little bit. The ankles are a little bit funny on these, but that is what their design is like. So I suppose it's more of a feature than a flaw. Actually, wait a minute, there is one thing I would complain a little bit, and I found this post-review with both of them, so I didn't mention it in the review. And that is the waist joint inside of their torso is very likely to pop out. So a lot of the time when I pick these up, their whole upper body just
I'm not doing right.
flopping around all marionette style. So that can happen. Doesn't happen all the time, but it can. So it's worth keeping an eye out for. Design-wise,
Maybe
it's
I put
absolutely
one more.
the Begier Bayu and the Begier Pentail.
One more like
I would
this.
assume straight away that they're pretty much the
Like a
same
bump.
kit, that they're just based off of the parts. Bandai would have just recycled a bunch of parts and built onto them. That is not the case. These are built brand new from the
There
ground
you
up,
go.
and they're a far superior kit. The detailing is better, the overall look is better, and they do feel better. These, without a single doubt, are as good as Grunt kits get. When
Better.
it comes to what is inside of the box, the standard Hydri, you get a very basic backpack as well as dual-wielding shield-based weapons. Actually, everything on this is pretty much a shield. In one hand, we have the standard shield. This can be used on the wrist or can actually bend forward over the fist entirely. In the right hand, what we've got is the combination of a pistol, a shield, and a lance. So it has a lance for those short melee attacks, the pistol for the mid-range, and of course the blocking shield on top. Once again, the only down point here is the fact that we do not have any alternate hands in here for use when nothing is being held. Jumping on over to what inside the box of the stern, and we get a little bit more when it comes to the arsenal. And this is a little bit more normal when it comes
Better
to
than ever.
weapons. We've got a standard beam saber, a pretty standard beam rifle, a nice shield, and a shoulder cannon for a round back. On top of that, we do have a thruster system or a unit which attaches into the rear skirting armor. When it comes to the build and articulation of both of these, like I mentioned, you can have some issues with the joint that is in the abdomen. Be careful with that, and these are absolutely perfect and will slay any pose and are rock solid. That, combined with the very unique feet and the overall unique design, means you will get great poses, but the forward and back at the, what I only assume you can call an ankle, could be a little bit better. But on the whole, these are some ridiculously awesome grunts. If you've ever wanted a little drop of armored core in your Gundam, then this is what you're looking for. Number 12, this is the Zowart, just about outclassing the Hydri when it comes to the best of the best G-Wish grunt suits. These are platinum tier and absolutely fantastic. Now, if I was going to throw in one con about these, it's barely even a con, really. And that is, these are the only kits from the entire line that do not have the standard backpack adapter, so that means they're not compatible with other high-grade backpacks. So that's the only real down point. Now, once again, I am throwing the two versions in together. The standard Zowart, which is the lighter armored and lighter equipped, super thrusterified version of the Zowart, and we have the Zowart Heavy in a darker militaristic green with heavy weapons and no thrusters, and a little bit more heavy armor. Essentially, though, both are identical at their core, it's just it depends on what you want. Do you want a lighter version with thrusters or a heavier version with weapons? Both of which are absolutely phenomenal. Visually, like I mentioned, these have a little bit of an Armored Core vibe. One of the designers for the Witch from Mercury who worked on these particular mobile suits did do some Armored Core designs, and that really does show on the wide upper bodies, narrow waist, and those elongated legs and arms. For those of you who are into classic Gundams, these definitely do bring a little bit of
Love trending. Kalian naman mag-drawing.
but one
Thank
thing I
you.
can definitely say is these look incredible. These are one of the most militaristic looking grunts I've ever seen when it comes to gunpla. These would look great in a lot of subdued
Baka
militaristic
kalawangin eh.
tones,
Kailangan
if you
mag-drawing
wanna
ulit.
paint like grays, silvers, and variants of
Kalawangin
the
yung
greens that
kamay
we
ko.
already have. So when it comes to the Zowards, first off is the standard.
Once
This
in
is
a
the
while,
lighter
kailangan
green with the thrusters and the pointy antenna.
i-practice mo
This
yung
is
ano
the
mo.
light mobile suit, so it is a little bit light on the equipment too. And the only other con I would say inside of this box is it would have been nice to have some widespread hand. All we have in here
Yeah.
is a small beam rifle as well as the beam sabers. The coolest aspect about the beam sabers is they're stored on the forearm, and there is a bit of a hidden gimmick in here. You can actually access during the build by just cutting a couple of tabs, which allows the forearm to open like so. When it comes to the Zord Heavy, we've got a lot more heavy equipment inside the box. We've got the same beam sabers as before. We've got an elongated version of the beam rifle, and we do have some heavy weaponry for mounting round back. Once again, armored core style. Once again, the build and the articulation on both of these is incredible. You get some great poses out of them, which really does match very nicely with the ridiculously elongated, slender limbs.
Can you
Now,
speak
just like
English?
you would have
Yeah.
seen with the Demi Trainer, there is an option set out there
Oh,
for
babe.
using with this. This is known as the Timberland.
Nami?
This is essentially a
Ah.
platform for them to fly around on.
From One
Go,
Piece.
well, on the underside of also flying around.
Maybe
This is a really
soon.
cool kit. I never actually did do a review of it, but I do recommend it a lot. It just looks so cool with your Zord mounted up top. Absolutely disappointing in the anime being a glorified delivery in that.
I'm actually
The
just
demi-barding
doing
does not
Naruto,
support the
Boruto,
it's plastic.
Bleach, and Hero
At
Academia.
number 11, this is the final form
That's it.
of the Demi Trainer. Across the G-Witch line, one of the most fun
And
aspects
Pokemon.
was seeing all the different mobile suit manufacturers and then seeing the technology from those manufacturers getting better and better, but none is quite as apparent as with the Demi Trainer line. Going from the super basic Demi Trainer to Choo Choo's custom Demi Trainer, all the way to the Demi Barding, is quite the Pokemon-esque evolution. This kit is absolutely phenomenally awesome. And even though it has gotten better in a whole lot of different ways compared to the Demis that came before it, the biggest and most awesome aspect is the fact that it actually has some ankles this time. Visually, this looks so cool. They took the typical Demi Trainer look and dialed it to 11. Got massive thrusters on the legs, big wide shoulders made look even bigger by the unit round back. And if there was to be some kind of con visually, there is some thruster stickers in here that could look a little bit cooler, as well as some massive stickers on the top.
Aizen sama. Yeah, I'll do that.
Noticeable when you're standing
I'll
right
consider
beside
that
it,
one.
but they are there. When it comes to the accessories in here, for the most part, these are fairly normal.
But not right now. I'm doing Stern Raider.
Aspect. We've got a standard set of beam sabers, which is normal. We've got the beam rifle.
I got right here, Stern Raider. So I'm doing like ABC, from A to Z. So I got Oreo right here. That's A, B, Stern Raider B, Jogram, and Bernida. Then I forgot his name. What is his name? Oh shit, I forgot. I like this character. Fuck. I forgot. Let me know in the comment.
Once again, like we've seen with this entire line, the articulation on this is stupendously good. Now I did find a little bit of issues with the elbows on mine.
Damn, your drawings are good. Damn. Oh, thank you.
Really big of a deal and nothing to detract points from it. The overall posability and structural integrity is impressive. This may have been an absolutely underutilized mobile suit in the anime, but it will be a super awesome addition to any plastic model collection. Highly recommended. Well, I suppose everything here is. Moving on. Finally, into the second half of the list, and this is where things get super serious. The kits from here on out are the best of Gunpla that has ever existed, which is mad cool. And the weird thing is, we're starting off with the Gunvolva. In the anime, this just flew around in a group, not really doing anything, just in the one pose, shooting. It's just a glorified marionette with a gun. A
Glorified
glorified
body.
big stave with a gun. But when it comes to the actual model kit itself, this thing is incredible. Literally better than the
Babaero
one
shop.
controlled it.
Mega Love
So when it
shut
comes to
up.
the glory of the Gunvolva, where do I even start? I guess with the usual spot. With the aesthetics. This is ridiculously gorgeous. This is essentially the
What's
same
on the
kind
daily?
of design as what we would have seen with the Ruber's Ur and the Ruber's Thorn, especially the Ur. It's almost like a slimmed down version. Well,
Saan
I guess
tayo?
it is because it's
Kapatid.
also based on the same mobile suit core being the standard Rubris. This, in essence, is an
Gusto
all
namin.
Gundam, even though in the actual lore and in the series it is just a drone. The color scheme is nice and subdued. The design is extremely nice with some nice geometric shapes.
Gusto ka
The
namin.
legs on this are so nicely designed with a cool sliding gimmick in the knee. Nicer than a lot of
Ako magawa eh. Hindi ako makatulog eh.
in this entire line.
Drawing na lang tayo, man.
When it comes to the shell unit, the chest and the forehead, these are simple but not quite as simple as what we would have seen on the Ur and Thorn, so this is an upgrade compared to those, even though in universe it's meant to be
By the way, here.
the accessories contained inside of this
Ayan, nabi ko na. Diyan na namin nilapin eh.
sword, sword, and beam rifle.
Agad na ako. Diyan na namin
Standard
yan.
set of beam sabers in here. A nice compact beam rifle which does have a removable magazine, which is always a cool feature. And the
Delphin,
shield
man.
in here is nicely detailed and even more
Number
detailed
one
than
basher.
we've seen on the Ur and Thorn again. Sadly, there is no express
Ano na kayang sabihin yan?
standard holding hands. When it does come to the
No?
overall articulation, this is fantastic.
Diba? Tapos na
The
ba?
legs on this look so cool. The design does have a little bit of a
Ano
hitch.
sabihin niyo, Delphin?
Some tight heels around back of the feet. Be careful with those.
Ano
And
magandang sinabi yan sa live,
absolutely
man.
awesome time pulsing. This ridiculously awesome
Guys,
design.
wag kayong mabudol dyan. Nagtitrace lang yan ng picture. May nakadrawing sa ilalim. Tira ulo. Wala yung nakadrawing sa ilalim, oh. Eto. Nilalagay ko yan sa ilalim pag nagkukulay ako. Para hindi bumakat sa next page. Tira ulo.
One of the most ridiculous looking designs we've
Mm.
show. Looking like something from the 80s Zeta Gundam style.
Ito, lagay ko nga dito sa pangalan ni Delphin.
Core Pale Technologies vibe.
Delphin.
As Pale Technologies have gotten on this list. Aesthetically, this looks like nothing else. They
Sila
built a
his.
Gundam that doesn't
Si
even look like a Gundam
la
at all. Elongated
his.
limbs, a huge backpack that almost harnesses some of
Ayan.
the Gundam 00 rifles
Kita ba?
into it. I've seen multiple customs of people using this backpack on Gundams, and it looks incredible.
Nandiyan
And it
na.
looks incredible on this kit too. It's
Si
absolutely covered
Delphin.
in
Gulo-gulo.
thrusters. The shell units on this kit,
Tayo
even though they do have
nakapokus
stickers
yun,
underneath, have been tastefully recreated.
Gulo-gulo ng ninong mo, Teddy.
Parts on top. Almost insectoid looking, like I said, this looks like nothing else from
Ang gulo-gulo.
It is ridiculously cool. The
Gulo
only
naman
real
ng
fine
mukha.
actually
Magulo
about
pa sa
this is the
mga
seams
live.
on the legs, especially
Ay,
the
yap.
toe section and the heels is a little bit on the weak side. So when you are standing up, they can kind of bow upward so slightly, but in the air, not have those issues. When it comes to the
Magulo na ang mukha. Magulo pa sa
we've got
live.
the giant sniper rifle known as the
Ikaw
BR
makukulit dyan, Delphin. May mga
beam sabers.
viewer ako dyang ibang lahi, ah.
Widespread left hand, which works so perfectly with that.
Bugs Art, ano tingin mo sa Warriors? Ah,
One of the most awesome aspects about this is the storage of the beam
putik na line-up yan. Matanda kasi pero kaya siguro. Pag playoffs, kaya. Pero pag season, parang kaya yan, kaya. Parang mas malakas sila ngayon kumpara last year.
In the best possible way, the legs can split down at the lower segment to move outwards in a kind of nice segment sort of way with the upper arms, and this can get really deep into over the.
Sana bumalik si Clay.
That combined with that ridiculously cool backpack, the overall insectoid look, and all of the thrusters everywhere.
No, pwede, no?
This is an absolute
So bumalik si Clay, eh.
dream. The build is rock solid in that usual G-Witch kind of way, and like I mentioned, the only real down point is the weak C-clips in the feet, which don't really matter when you get this up in the air. So yeah, if you're looking for some
Al Horford, may defense si Al, eh.
then this is the
So,
best.
okay siguro. Mas maganda lineup nila kumpara last year.
Weirdest and most over-the-top
Kasi may defense sila sila
to
alim.
go for, but that
Tsaka may shooting si Al.
and that's the crazy awesome thing about this.
Al Horford.
It just gets better, wackier, and even more perfect.
Nakakatakot ang Spurs. Sino ba nandun sa Spurs? Ano bago? Fox, Wemby, tsaka yung second drop. Sino ba? Sino lumipas sa Spurs?
Have you heard of the Grabber? No es una película simple de
Wala yun, bata pa yun.
Black Phone 2. Es una película que habla sobre en la humanidad en general.
May lumipat ba sa Spurs na malakas? So, oo, man. Gusto kong bumalik si Clay, man. Parang boring yung Warriors. Wala si Clay. Paborito ko si Clay. Buti naman, may nag-like naman 6.
So apparently they couldn't get rid of this kit in Japan. I mean, they couldn't sell it. Nobody was buying it. And that is, to me, that blows my mind.
Si
This
Del.
is a fantastic, ridiculously good kit. Honestly,
May
I would
bagong
recommend
chick si
it.
Kuya Eli.
And number 8, this
Teddy.
is the great Michaelis.
Kamukha rin niya.
Don't get distracted by the fact that this thing had poor sales. Apparently, that's just because people didn't like the pilot Shattuck. The actual mobile suit itself.
Kamukha rin yan, man.
Which kits out
Parang
there.
lit na mata.
It's asymmetrical, it kicks ass, and this is the best Grassley kit of them all. Aesthetically, this does look fantastic, noble, and almost like a witch hunting knife, which I assume
Kamukha rin ni Kuya Eli chicks
it
niya.
is asymmetrical with that beam bracer on the right-hand side and a shield on the left. All of the Grassley trademarks are here. We've got those nice clear segments in the
Ang pangalan si ano?
some stickers here and there, which actually
Oo, ang pangalan ng chicks ni Delphine.
on white is quite similar to what we would
Si
see with the Bigger Bear.
Vampire. Miss Vampire.
Miss Vampire. Universe as well as when it comes to the model kit, it is pretty much
Totoo yan po eh.
perfection. So when it comes to the accessories with this kit, this is
Ayun,
definitely
tapos na mag-trace.
no doubt. So if you like
Trace to ako eh. Hint na natin to, man. Bukas naman yung lining. Ito yung pinaka-hit ko, yung mag-drawing pa lang ng lapis eh. Pinaka-gusto ko yung nagkukulay na. Kaya tinatamad ako mag-drawing minsan. No, bago ako mag-ganito ganyan ng lapis.
It doesn't come with any alternate hands, which is a little bit of a letdown, but it does come with a bit of a stand for using without being bracers. You're able to take that off, attach it to
Ayos.
the wire, pop it onto the stand for this really cool
Ano na tayo, tubig.
hole. The beam bracer really is the highlight of this kit when it comes to the accessories. You can have it have it
Bambietta!
or have it used as a remote use weapon. And on retrospect, this is very similar in design to the rifle. It opens up and extends out in a similar kind of way.
Sige na nga, ballpenan ko na.
It is perfect. You will get every bullet
Wait
out
lang.
of it, and it is rock solid.
Lagyan ko
Anything
muna
else
ng
that
pilik
would
mata.
say with articulation, I'd just be trying to fill space in
Babae
total,
kasi.
like I'm doing right now. So there isn't really much
Kailangan lagyan ng pilik mata yan, man.
It looks epic in every
Kaso, direct ko na lang sa ballpen pag nilagyan ng pilik mata.
when it comes to gunpowder.
Baba ko nga konti.
Here, the high-grade Michaelis. It may or may not
Yan.
be more, but whether this is full price, half price, quarter price, double price, feels totally worth it. I'm laughing about that because don't
Oh,
let,
shit,
if
ang
you
laki.
find it cheap, don't let the price rebound. Grab it. You can. I once saw a bargain bin of master grade Gundam
I want
Spallow.
so
I outright
hard.
didn't buy. Totally regret it. Still don't have master grade Spallow.
Pasmado kamay ko ah. Kakajakol ni Delphine eh.
So from here on out, this is where the list really gets serious. I mean, the last
Yeah, ganun din
February,
din.
it was so hard to choose what was better than which. These kits are absolute perfection. They're ridiculously good in every way. The best high grade and otherwise the best that has ever come out. So in a way, you could technically shuffle things around and, well, what position they're in will never quite be wrong. They're all
Ay, putik.
so from here on out, I just based it entirely on instinct and facts. So at lucky number 7 is the high-grade Daryl Ball there. The prodigal son, well, of mine, because I had it, then I lost it for about 6 months, and I just found it the other day. This is a
Ano, Teddy, kilala mo ng chicks ni Delphine?
out the window straight away. The reason
Ang
is
chicks ni Delphine si ano? Si Miss Vampire. Wow, sana all.
the design is a little bit simpler than we'll see from some of the kits further up. We've got no real parts coming through from lower layers, and it is a little bit simpler with some seam lines running up.
Miss
some
Vampire yun, boy.
On top of that, we do have a big, massive sticker slap.
No, you know, man.
Base Turk style, which does
Kamukha silang dalawa. Magkamukha
that
sila
was
eh.
color separated. It is would be shoulder to shoulder with
Miss Vampire.
higher. But visually, this is one of the most eye-catching, if not the most eye-catching design in the
Kamukha
show.
rin
On my
niya.
shelf, it's the first thing that, well, my
Para
eyes
ano,
throw its weapons into its
ang
hands,
tawag dun,
turn on a UV or black light, this thing glows
kapwa ko,
like
mahal
nobody's
ko.
business. This is a high contrast TYBW design, and it just looks stupendous. It's a ridiculously cool design. It almost
Kapwa
has
ko,
an alien
mahal
kind of
ko.
feel around the head, as well as that contrasting color scheme.
Miss Vampire talaga.
Design
Oh!
aspects that make it. The lens is quite cool, but slimmed it down into
Pakita mo
over
sa
the top.
viewers na
Red
kagawin sa
with
ilalim.
that sharp aspect
Wala
of
nga
the
yan, oh.
beast, so authentically
Sira
and
ulo ka talaga
and
yun.
the looks of this absolute beast were to know. What comes inside of the box is ridiculous. In the lore and in the show, the Daryl Balde is one of the most over-the-top mechas. He can replace its forearms with different forearms. Those are around back, those are in the box sleeves, so many choices.
Ano
On top of that,
binibisto
we do have a
Delphin?
widespread open hand, which is a bit of a rarity and a premium addition in this
Kaya
line.
mo ako.
When it comes to the swappable forearms we have in here, with the normal ones with holding hands, which can hold
Alam mo,
the
Teds,
weapons, the weapon being that massive
Kaya
spear,
Teddy,
which can split into
alam mo,
two close
ilang taon na kami magkakilala ni Kuya Eli.
just a
Hindi pa kami
millimeter
nagkikita.
from the wrists, so it's just a pair of forearms with stabby ends.
May tinatago
We have
ata
some
yun eh.
awesome shoulder shields, which are massive.
Parang hindi tumatalab yung pen ko.
And this is one of those kits that will need a sole separate stand set in order to hold on to all of that ridiculous.
Pupunta ako sa San Jose last 2 weeks ago. Nasa San Jose ako.
Included, though.
Tapos minsan sa Milpitas sa mall. Ayaw makipagkita. Sabi ko, Eli, saan ka? Dito ako sana, punta ka. Ayaw, man. Bading siguro to eh. Siguro naka ano to. Bang naka-retoke. Babae na ata si Kuya Eli. Nagpapalit na ng mukha. Nagpalagay na ng suso.
One that has a whole ton of options in one box. You keep changing it, fidget about with it every now and then on your desk, then this is the one for you. It has an over-the-top EPIC.
Ang dahilan niya, kaya niya makipagkita sa akin. Malakas daw ako kumain. Sabi ko, ako magpapakain sa'yo. Gagawin mo lang. Luluhod ka lang. No? Luluhod lang siya eh. That's it.
The sixth position is as high as the jib turned heavy industries mobile suit stand, and that is the absolutely stupendous high-grade Gundam Schwarzette. What we've got right here is the bastard child of the Daryl Balde Gundam, because it takes all the best aspects of both and smashes them together. The torso and the crotch unit are
Luluhod lang siya eh. Pag sa siguro, sinong ni 4'11 lang height. Oh! Nakatakong lang yan kaya matangkad eh. Oy! Tita Owel, Ate Owel. May love shutdown. Nakatakong yan si Kuya Eli, man. Parang tabingi yung mata.
We've got a stunning monochrome Gundam which has some nice pink splashes of color and shell in it. It's got a halo.
Para si Tita Owel eh.
Is so ridiculously detailed. It's one of the craziest head builds I have ever done, and that includes real great kits, which are meant to be levels above.
Paboritong anak ni Delphin. Si Tita Owel, man.
When it comes to the accessories in here, we've got
Sabi
one of the
niya yung mata,
craziest weapons of
man.
all time, which is the Guardian system, based on the Guardian sheet, which looks like a big sword. I'll also mention before I start gushing about that, we do have a widespread hand in here as well, which everything from here on out doesn't have, so this one has those beat there. The Guardian system is ridiculous. It's a big old massive sword first, which can open up
Arte pa ba yan?
a bunch of bits and a beam katana. These bits can then attach onto the mobile suit to basically become a set of wings that have 4 different styles.
Natulog na ba sila na upstate?
Off the charts.
Kuya Eli.
The build is rock solid. Articulation, like
Si Karina.
no point to be mentioning anymore, is perfect. And those hooked feet, ridiculous. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure what to say anymore. It's just so
Ay, shit,
perfect.
kailangan
It's
lagyan ko
hard
pa sa
not to
kabila
talk
ng
for hours about it.
pilik
Treat
mata.
yourself. Get one. It is
Para
awesome.
magmukhang babae. Parang si Ate Owel yan ah.
G-Witch kit out there.
Yun,
If you
ah.
were ignoring the Venatus suits, this would be the
Yan.
best.
kamukha na ni Kuya. Ni Ate OL.
Finally moving into the top 5, and this was the hardest decision for me to make out of everything. Out of all the kits and rearranging them and putting them in order, this was the hardest one. That was Gundam Aerial versus Gundam Aerial Rebuild. Both fantastic kits, both with slightly different pros and cons, but in the end, the Aerial won out. So at number 5, it's the Aerial Rebuild. Now the reason for this mainly is because of the iconic look of the original Aerial. Its look alone is enough to place it above this kit. It's also 400 yen cheaper, so it's about $10, making it very cheap if you're just getting into Gunpla. But of course, there is a little less inside of the box. But we're not talking about the Aerial right now, we're talking about the Aerial Rebuild. This is the redesign of the Gundam Aerial with enough changes to make it look quite different. Apparently, when the Aerial Rebuild was being redesigned, the whole point was to make the Aerial look a little bit more like a classic Gundam. So it does dumb
Classic
down the
Gundam.
unique aspects of the Aerial a little bit. Overall, we've got a little bit more of a blockier design than what we would have seen. The detail is brought back a little bit in terms of angles or layers, but it does
Classic
come with a big old
Gundam.
rocking set of wings. Now, when these kits are as good as they are, it's hard for me to actually just cherry pick points about them in which to talk about to keep this brief, so I'm going to try. So it does come to the pros and cons of this versus standard Aerial. This will all be subjective and up to yourself. This one is a lot more predominantly blue up top, white down bottom with some blue feet. The angles have all been squared off a little bit, and the face has been changed quite a bit.
Ay,
And
tumalab.
now I can't unsee that mouth. That looks like a mouth to me. I'm going to make sure everyone cannot unsee
Yun.
that right there in the muzzle looks
Bago
like
pa
a
to
mouth.
eh.
Now you see it too. The biggest change is most
Ah,
definitely the
walang bili
wings
ko
around
dito
back.
eh.
This is like the combination of the standard Aerial and the
Lipen.
Universal Flight Unit,
Mahal-mahal
but
ang
the
bili ko
wings
dyan,
and the
man.
main body do gel together that much better in here. When it comes to the accessories, it's the standard Gundam loadout of sword, board, and beam rifle. It's just on crack. The beam sabers are standard enough; they're just a normal set of beam sabers. The board is the escutcheon, which is absolutely ridiculous, like it is with every Fanatic's mobile suit. It's a shield most of the time. It can split apart into bit staves that do require a
Lalakihan ko na nga.
separate
Tek.
stands. They can all come together onto the Aerial as the superpowers
Bold.
take on form. We do have a rifle in here as well, which is
Oh, no,
massive,
never mind.
we saw with the standard Aerial. And
Finish this one first.
that as well. So there are so many options. Once again, if you do want a kit that you can just pick up, change around, change its loadout just with what is inside of the box, this is one of those perfect kits. As you would expect from a flagship mobile suit, this is perfection.
There we go.
So the build is perfect. The
How about the other
articulation
side?
is perfect.
Other
This
side.
looks great in every pose, and the wings really do add to its overall look when it is in the air. The silhouette is gorgeous. This kit is gorgeous. This kit is perfect. And if you prefer the rebuild to the Aerial, well, essentially, there is more inside of the box. So go for that one.
The finest visually fragrances
Alright.
exclusively available in Shadow
Tapos
Crystal.
kilay.
Unstoppable
Kilay ni Madam
collection
Auring.
makes everything smell magnifique. Le joli laundry scent feed so you can smell unstoppable.
A screen that doubles in size?
Galing pa sa parlor yan. Tinan mo naman ang kilay. Dun, 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 dun. Kulayan ko na.
Pampers 360 has an unbeatable fit that's up to 100% leak proof.
Toasty, meaty, mozzy, and saucy. New toasted pizza sandwiches at Jimmy John's.
Shake ko na para kita. Alright, let's do the bold one. The thick one. Paano ba? This one right here first. Oh. 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 Wala na. Oh. Oh shit. Tahan lang. Baka lumagpas. Yun. Kailangan alalay lang. Huwag didiinan. Kasi pag diniinan mo, lalaki yung lalaki yan eh. Malinaw ba yung live? Tapos, paano bang gagawin ko dito? Taas ko lang ng konti. Ayan. Like this. Shit, on the spot. Tapos medyo parang kulot-kulot dito ng konti. Paano ba? Mat ko lang konti. Yun. Oh shit. Yan.
So ascending now into the realm of Gundarium tier, and this is finally the top 3. And this right here is the
Okay,
one
man.
that started it all. It was the #1 first release when it came to the high-grade G-Witch kits, and it's also the one that started the goddamn confusion about the Rubris versus Elfrid, which still has no actual answers on stick.
Bambietta.
So you might be asking, what makes this?
Do you guys watch Bleach?
Well, to me,
No,
there's two
no.
things that make this a little bit better.
Press
One
1,
is that
press
pop
2.
in color scheme. When do you ever see a Gundam in hot pink? Hot pink with bunny ears. That is enough to get it at the top of the list. The other aspect is, it does actually have slightly better articulation. Mainly that's because it doesn't have shell units in its upper legs, so you do get full upper leg rotation. It also doesn't have
Barbershop, 5'5" ako. Ang edits ko, almost 6 in.
On the whole, it does
Filipino size, I'm sure that would be enough to make a woman happy.
the shell unit in the
Kung nagyabang na naman ng
incredible. It is all
hindi naman
one piece.
tumitigas.
It holds on better than what we see with the aerial, where it can actually kind of
Sige,
pop
6
out
inches ka. Ang tanong,
in some poses.
tatigas ba boy?
Pretty much everything we would have seen with the aerials is here too, because this was the prototype.
Kaya natulog na ba sila Karina?
It is in hot pink with bunny ears, but on top of that we
Asan ba sila?
great angles too. We do have some traditional thrusters on this as opposed to the venting we see on the more technologically advanced versions later on, and overall it just looks so cool. As this is the prototype to the aerial, this does come with a loadout which is pretty much identical, just a little bit lower tech. So we've got the
Tarahin ko muna yung
sword,
bibig.
bow, and beam rifle as well as a backpack.
Sakit along.
The beam sabers in here are standard. The beam rifle in here is one of the most unique looking rifles I have ever seen. This can be used with the big old weird wide open end. We've got a big long cool effect part for using with it. Or
Tayo tumalab na ng sumpin ko.
on form. And speaking of the escutcheon, we do have options yet again. This can be used as a
Yun.
big shield. This is not the same as the one we would have seen.
Wag na ba ako. Live synapse kanina, I stayed there until the end. Until the end of the world.
Simpler maybe. Like I mentioned, this can be used
Kasi ko muna to. Bibig.
once again, and it can also be
Nandun ako kanina kay Napsi.
form, which attaches
Silip-silip lang.
different kind of way.
Lalaro ako ng Facebook ng
Like I mentioned earlier on, the
games
articulation
eh.
is a little bit better than what we saw on the aerial due to the lack of limitations. Full upper leg swivel and skirting in the way of angle kicks. So essentially, it is on the same tier as aerial itself, but depending on your own personal taste when it comes to Gundam model kits, this may or may not be the better choice. However, pick bunny ears.
Kaya hindi ka na nakakatulog ng maaga, no? Di ba 9 pa lang natutulog ka na. Parang nasa yung body clock mo. Parang umiba na, no? Ikaw kasi mag-chakol. Ay, tulog ka agad, boy. Chakol ka ng chakol, kuya yan eh. Wala ka. Pag tulog, boy.
When this was coming out, I thought it would just be a scaled up version of the high grade. That it would just be a bigger high grade. And a lot of the time that's what full mechanics 100 is. But that is not what they did. If you put it side by side scaled up with the high grade, this looks nothing like it. It's sleeker, it's narrow, it's taller, and in a way a little bit more like the aerial that we would have seen on screen. The plastic is of a completely different caliber as well. I wouldn't say better, I wouldn't say worse, but it is shinier. It kind of catches the light nicer.
Takot ako dito ah. Baka tumabingi yung ano.
Say if you had to make people choose which one is better, they're automatically gonna go for the bigger
Yung
one.
mukha.
If there is one thing that is better about the high grade compared to the full mechanics, in my opinion, is the fact that the shell units pop more in the high grade variants. But what we've got here is actual shiny chrome red parts deep inside of the kit, which in a way is pretty cool. So if you are a master grade aficionado, how do you say that word? And you're like, God damn it, I'm not buying a non-master grade 100 kit. Well, this might be the one that will change your mind. It just kind of feels like master grade light. We've got master grade, which is a over-the-top feature pack version of master grade. This feels like the opposite. It's a feature removed version of master grade, but it still does everything a master grade does on the surface. Looks perfect, poses perfect, and pretty much is perfect.
Nakakatakot baka tumabingi.
Here's pretty much what we would have seen with the high grade. It's the sword or the beam rifle. We might be wondering what are all those little bits too. So one of my biggest complaints with a lot of the high grades is not a lot of options when it comes to hands. You've got those kind of fists with the holes all the time, which kind of
I think that's good.
gives them a bit of a leather man kind of feel, not very premium. This kit comes with essentially what we see in master grades these days. You can swap out the fingers so you have a whole bunch of different hand options. Relaxed hands, fists, holding hands, and hands for holding the beam rifle. Everything we would have seen with the high grade is here too. So we've got beam sabers but with nice flat beams which look unique. We've got the beam rifle once again doing everything the beam rifle did before. That means you can use it as a beam rifle for long range shooting. We also do have a beam effect like we saw with the high grade, but this is a little longer and a little bit more sword-like. And when it does come to the escutcheon, it does all the same things we would have seen before, but now with nicer color separation. This kit is fully color separated. It doesn't require any stickers, any painting, anything like that. You've got a perfect representation of aerial right out of box. Even though I didn't use them in the review or on my kit, you do get decals too, which will add some extra detail all over the surface. I just don't really use those because they can look a little obvious when they are attached. Personally, I'm holding out for water slides. When it comes to the articulation, this is pretty much what we saw with the high grade. The only real limitations, once again, are the upper leg rotation as well as the kicks up to the front. Besides that, you will get all the poses you want out of it, especially in the upper body. Now, I will mention that size does come with a little bit of a downside. I have noticed over time it has loosened up a little bit compared to the high grade, so it does feel a little bit wobbly. Totally worth keeping in mind, and a fine trade-off in my opinion for that absolutely massive size. So yeah, once again, if you do want to know more about this particular kit, want to know how it fares up against the high grade and whether you want the big one or the small one, you can go check out my full mechanics Gundam aerial review. Now, number one spot.
Yeah.
So finally now into the final position, the number one Witch from Mercury kit is the high grade Gundam Caliban. Now this kit right here doesn't just get the crown for the best G-Witch kit in existence, this also gets the scepter for the greatest high grade kit in existence. This thing is the pinnacle of high grade and G-Witch technology. This takes
There you
everything
go.
that the absolutely awesome
Bonk.
Most all-time iconic Gundam suits, the Gundam Unicorn. On top of that, the shell units and the V-fin on this kit are in a metallic, pearlescent rainbow color, which is absolutely off the charts awesome. But, and I have to throw this minor complaint in,
Yun.
it would have been nice if
I'll be right back.
here too. Besides that, this is absolutely stupendously cool. The
Mute ko
overall
muna. Wait lang. Baka marinig yung usapan eh. Alright, I'm back. To the moon and ba. Shit. Freezing cold tonight.
Perfect. It poses perfectly. It's rock solid. What can I say? This is sheer Gunpla perfection. So that right there is it for the list, and that was, for me, one of the, actually no, the most enjoyable line of Gunpla I have ever built, and I am so sad to see it be finished, but I'm still super excited to see what Bandai does next. Every single one of the high-grade kits is pretty much perfect. The full mechanics is perfect too. Everything about this line was such an
Freezing cold tonight.
as usual on this list, make sure to drop your ranking list down there in the comments. Whether you built 5 kits, didn't build any. If it's your wish list, just drop it down there. Which ones?
Unforgiven, I'm a
Maybe this
blind.
question might pop up at some point, but no, I didn't put in the Figurized Suletta and the Miorine. Those are great kits, by the way. They just weren't Mega Model kits, so they weren't included. The Tikbalang, Demi Trainer option set, and the Mira Soul Flight Unit, they were only option kits, so they weren't on it either. Anyway, if you're looking for some kits to buy, hopefully you found something that will suit you in this list for your next purchase. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla content. I'll see you next time.
I'll see you next year.
Once again, this video right here, and none of these videos would be possible without each and every single one of you guys who watches my videos. And special thanks to those of you who support me over on Patreon and here on the channel memberships, including 10 Soldier YT, Caleb Engelhart, Dashil Marmion,
Ay,
Little
shit,
Rockstar,
tabingi.
Joe, Lauren Seahack, Org59061, and Van Farm.
Tabingi, man. Pero okay lang. It's alright.
From roughage to radiance. So many ways to save. Life ready. Wallet happy. That's 365 by Whole Foods Market.
Hey Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another Gundam review, and today I'm taking a look at this right here. This is the Robot Spirits for Anime Gundam Caliban from the Anime Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. And the Gundam Caliban is one of the
Gundam
It's
Caliban.
part Gundam Aerial, it's part Gundam Unicorn, and overall it's just absolutely ridiculous. And when it comes to
Nagising
Gundam
ako
anime
kanina,
figures, the
baga
anime
man.
line has been so impressive time and time
Magaling si
again
Ate
that I just
Napshin.
got to see exactly what this one right here looks like. I got mine through Bai, so you can do that too if you want one of your own. And the main thing we're going to focus on today is
Di ako nakakanta.
this right here, the Vert Anime Robot Tamashi comes
Di ako
into this right
nakakanta.
here, the high-grade Gundam model kit. Because there's a bit of a price difference between the two. Brand new right here, this costs $15.31. This one right here is a premium Bandai exclusive, so it costs
Ganun
9,000 yen,
makatulog,
retail,
man.
which is $57. Off of buying
Wala kasang
with everything
TV.
included, it cost me 63 and a bit. Yeah, there's a lot of difference between 16 and
Yan, mahina na.
Let's find out. So I'm cracking open the box. This right here is what you get. So it does come out without the backpack attached. It's not necessarily a unit that would be walking around without its backpack, so I'm going to throw that right on. But this is what you get. So the shell units right there, those are deactivated, and there are quite a few of those. It seems like inside the box you have a lot of different parts we can swap out to change the activation state of the shell unit. But for now, let's get the backpack on. So put the backpack on. It was a little bit confusing, I will admit. It goes in a funny little bit of an angle, and I think it goes around a bit wrong way around. So yeah. Beam saber attachment part up the way, vent down the way.
Beam
It goes in
saber.
a bit of a funny angle, but it does click into place.
Sisipan na ata ako ah.
This is what we got. Get into a little bit more of a relaxed standing pose, and finally here is the Robot Spirits for Anime Caliban in all of its glory. This is an incredibly nice figure right here.
Gising ko na sa
The only
imo.
real complaint I would ever have when it comes to Robot Spirits is they don't really detail out the mechanical
Gising ko na sa imo.
because it is just, for the most part, molded in plastic, no paint, for the most part. Now, what has definitely entertained me the most about this particular figure right here is, unlike what we would have seen with the
Ooh, I like
the
this.
antenna on this is done in a opaque plastic material, so it has a completely kind of different feel. It seems a little bit more solid, and obviously when the shell unit acts up, that's when it will get a little bit transparent, but a completely different feel. But yeah, for me, the big question here, of course, is who did it better? Bandai Tamashii Nations with the figure, or Bandai Spirits with this right
There
here?
you go.
Kit. So I'm gonna have to get the gun staves off of this to check them out together, but let's get that done. So now that I've all the parts and bits and weapons off of the high-grade Caliban, it's time to compare the Robot Tamashii with the high-grade. But first, I did realize that what I've got on the high-grade right here is the kind of rainbow effect the shell units have towards the very, 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 very end of the Witch from Mercury. What we actually have with the Robot Tamashii right here is with the off, so it's just in a nice shiny color. I'm not sure if it's glittery or there's some refraction going on in there, but it's just in a clear black. Now inside of the box we do have a bunch of options, all of the options actually. So that is the clear black with the permit off, permit score 6 in red, as well as that permit rainbow one, which is, if I'm not mistaken, is permit score 8. So you have all three options inside of this box. Now, you do have two options inside the high grade box. That is the shell units off and the pearlescent rainbow. But what you do not have is the red part. If you actually do want the high grade the red part, you need to buy this kit right here, which is the premium Bandai exclusive, which was also available at some events. So, this red stuff, not included with the high grade. So first off, I'm going to get the clear and red out of the way with the Robot Tamashii. So yeah, first off, we're just going to be taking a look at what the Caliban, the Robot Tamashii version, looks like out of the box. All I added on was the backpack and the butt pack. Everything else is just as it is. So overall, this does look incredibly, incredibly nice, and it's very, very clean with some great detailing on it. Like I mentioned,
There you go.
something that kind of, I feel kind of goes against it is the fact that one of the primary attraction like that is given a little bit of extra recessed shadow in order to make it pop. It's just plain plastic that every art out of except for some details up on the head. Speaking of said details up on the head, it has a nice big two cloud-like eyes. Those are using a nice reflective green, same as the head camera up there. The V-fin, like I mentioned already, that has been painted in a nice matte gray paint, which is a nice contrast against the shell unit right seems to be a little bit of chrome detailing on the bulkheads on either side. Extremely nice. It hits the light nicely. And speaking of catching the light nicely, the shell units do a great job as well. It feels like there may be some kind of detail inside of that is giving it a little bit of well, one cool thing I did notice is there's a little bit of, I'm not sure if it's paint or plastic detailing right here across the candy. This isn't something you really hydrate in this part of the
Tabanta ka pa.
and it does add a nice little bit of extra technical detail.
End na ako eh.
Nice extra technical detail. Those fists, so, well, we're saying silly, they're written with flats on it. And I guess depending on your own perspective as well, these feet are ridiculously low when it comes to big Gundam design. They kind of remind me of what you would have once seen on some Destiny designs. They're very, very narrow and very, very basic.
Hirap.
I absolutely adore them. I think they look so, so cool. But that'll be definitely down to yourself. Alright, think about various shell units have changed on this. Now, this isn't as, well, it's more straightforward, or should I say less straightforward than the high grade. But the high grade, of course, you do have to kind of build it one way or the other because it changes.
Nagtanta ako, nag-end na ako rin eh. Naglalining lang ako, tapos bukas ulit. Kukulayan ko bukas. Kamukha mo yan, ikaw yan, oo, di ba? Clean fingers, maduming eh. Alam mo naman ang trabaho ko, madumi. Ayan, puro lupa. Yan ah, puro lupa yan, man. Inaway kasi ni John Strong ay ni Delpin yung mga nanood kanina eh. Yung mga sinabihan ba naman pinapabakatan ko sa ilalim. Umalis tuloy. Yung mga ibang lahi. Tulogin na kayo na. Inaantokish ka na eh. Tabingi. Parang mukha ni Delphin. Tabingi. Oh shit. Andyan. Andyan na.
Okay, so I've got it this far so far. The only things I've left to do is the chest and the head. Now,
Na 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 na.
it all comes off the on the armor, but yes, time to do the chest aspect. This right here is what we had removed, so this just pops out pretty simply. Grabbing the red one right here. This has been extremely nicely painted, so it seems to be a little bit of kind of candy red, so clear red on chrome. Just did removed it and just popped.
Naisip ko na ako rin na.
To the chest, is that right? Yeah, seems to be. Anyway, finally then we've got that little bit of the head section now.
Hirapan ako
What I
ba
never noticed before is that the red permit score beacon is actually the same.
Kailangan nata kita.
Permit score 8 and everything gets for less. But anyway, let's check this out. So anyway, there's the full 360 spin of the robot.
Sana all.
Basterbine, and now it has score 6.
Naganaro sa'yo. Kapitan yun. Ay putik, lumiit. Parang edits ni Tyrus. Tulog ka na boy. Tapos ko lang ito eh, lining. Wala akong magawa eh. Sabi ko, mag-draw nga. Yan. Naman. Ba't ka pala gising ka pa?
We've got them in the upper thigh, that is both the front and around back. We've got one in the crotch area right here as well. Up on the shoulders, left and right, both front and back. The largest one is in the chest.
Kala
The
ka
way
eh, no?
that this is painted means that the red sections almost look a little bit recessed into it, giving it an almost multifaceted look. And finally, then the last one is up there in the forehead, catching the light ever so nicely. But it's about time to actually check out what this looks like once it goes even further beyond to that permit.
Gala ka ba?
So getting the permit changed is exactly the same as what we saw before. You just strip it all off. That's all the red stuff off, just like so. Simple and ridiculous.
Na si Macarena.
Attach on all the rainbowy colored stuff in exactly the same way we attach on the red. Nothing is any different, and it is simple. The more you do it, the easier it gets. It's very user-friendly.
Macarena.
So you get the high grade right here back into the mix and get them compared. Now, I will mention once again, this is about $16. I think that's what I said before. This one is about $62. So there is quite the whopping price difference. If you actually think about it, you could probably get two versions of this one right here, the standard high grade Caliban and slap
Collarbone.
and the permit off onto it, and then get yourself the red premium band.
Tsakitan muna kita. Malamigin ka eh.
More than likely. Now, I haven't done the math, but it's going to be there and around, and you'll have three versions as opposed to just one. But let's get the comparison. So now jumping right out into the comparison, and we're going to be starting with aesthetics. I'm going to be making a bit of a side note right here. You've seen my high grade Caliban review. This has a little bit more effort put into it. I think it's just
Malamigin
so
ka
this
eh.
isn't exactly how it looks out of box.
Ay,
It does have
putik
some
tabingi.
with a what? $2-3 panel liner, so it's really not that big a deal. So it may not be out of box, but it's close enough to it. So the first thing I guess I can mention is the height. They're almost comparable, really. They're near enough the same when it comes to height. This has a
Tapos
slightly
na.
different head height.
Tapos bukas ulit.
The high grade will always be on the left. I'll pop a little note down here. The robot spirits or robot mashi, I'll put RS down here so you can see. And you'll know which is which throughout the entire review.
Putik tabingi na naman, man.
You know, if you threw that on the shelf with some high grades, which I'm doing right now, you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference, especially from a distance. So it is a little bit shorter in height.
Hindi siya bilog, man.
Sheer millimeters. So first off, taking a quick look at the faces on these, and I have to admit, this is not a kind of cut and dry argument which is better. I feel one does something better than the other, and vice versa. For example, the face in general, the molding around the vulcans on the side of the head, I all think is done better by the high grade. The eyes, I'd say, are a little bit better than the stickers. However, when it comes to the beak bit, hands down it goes to the
Because
ends of the beak bit, the shell unit just seems a whole lot larger, and the detail on the shell unit just pops so much more. It's not just a sticker behind a clear piece, and same with the overall color on it. It's a lot richer, and the transparency is gorgeous on the robot Mashi. Jumping down into the torso, and again, it all changes a lot. When it comes to the high grade, I feel like the mold is sharper. It usually is when it comes to modeling it. But when it comes to the robot Mashi, it's got more three-dimensional aspects. When it comes to the shell unit, the high grade wins hands down. This is that pre-molded one we've seen all the way back to Gundam Rubris, and it just catches the light perfectly. It's the only one that's actually in the high grade. The rest of the shell units are stickers and don't work as well. And I feel the robot Mashi beats the high grade on shell unit besides the one in the chest. If the high grade had done this all over, it'd be hands down the winner. On the arms now, and again, it's not just a, well, there isn't a clear winner here. When it comes to the high grade, it's got a lot more sharper detail.
All right.
Bukas
ulit.
However, when it comes to actual detailing, the robot Mashi wins inside of a lot of areas on it, like the shoulders, we do that gray aspect, doubling up the armor, making it look actually armored mechanically. And we do have a nice dark bit in the middle of the thruster to give it a little bit more. Overall, it just seems like it's got a nice, more layered construction, and the shell in the top a little bit better. When it comes to the weight tuning between the two, there's an actual completely different size to them both. So it's kind of hard to say which is better. It's smaller.
Yo, manga artist, bro.
Bigger on the high grade.
No, I'm not manga artist. I'm just like
Honestly, I feel like again,
regular artist.
same, but the detailing on both is absolutely astronomically awesome. But I feel them. Overall,
Bambietta Basterbine. Oh shit, I forgot this one.
that can fit stays attached onto. They have a little bit of a gray circle inside. Again, nice mechanical detailing. And around back, there is just some nicer, sharper aspects to it. And when it comes to the feet, I really do like the work there on the robot mesh. They're a little longer, a little sharper. So it seems like sharpness isn't necessarily superior to high grade. Finally, now just taking a quick look at the backpacks. I'm actually shocked that the same issues are in both. The backpack on the high grade handlebars could be a little bit fancier. They are a little bit hollow. There is a line running down the middle of them, but the exact same thing goes for the robot mesh. They're a little bit hollow, and there is a seam line running down the middle of them. All in all, it seems to be kind of the same. It is in ball joint here, so it looks a bit weird that it doesn't have that good old glue mechanic. But on the robot mesh, it is socket, which almost looks a bit better when it is not a switch. However, the robot to mesh wins for one thing and one thing only. The Beam Saver storage rack does move, but it does not move on the high grade. So that's good. So overall, which is the best out of the two? Visually,
I'm getting another new pawn ng Delphin sila guys.
for which, but this one definitely wins out when it comes to the price factor. So moving on to the second competition between the two, and that is going to be the articulation. One is the full articulation of the high grade caliber.
Alright.
Again, you can check out that review. Moving on to the
Yes,
for the robot to mesh unit video.
I'm satisfied with my work.
So yeah, in short, when it does come to the articulation on the high grade, the caliber and all three and they're very nice, and everything is just great range.
Bukas mas malapit yan pag may kulay na.
Elbow that could be a little better, but overall, fantastic. When it comes to the robot to mesh, yeah, they have one that is pop off, but otherwise it's nice and smooth, it's good. The range of motion in general is fantastic as well, and we do get a little bit more at the elbow than we did in the high grade Gumpa. However, when you do compare them both side to side, there's something a little bit more natural, I feel, about the way the high grade falls into a pose compared to the robot Tamashi. The robot Tamashi does feel like it has a little bit more to it in some regards.
And now, Marina, good night.
Compared to that rock pose, pretty much
No.